Ohio gozaimasu, and welcome to the Mr. Maple Show. Today we're bringing you the top 5 non-Makawa types in production. Our Makawa types have a lot of hype. We've shot some top 5s on those. These are the non-Makawa types, some of the coolest stuff we've got in production.
You guys have been asking for it. These are trees that have the hype. And I want to let you know that they're in heavy production here at Mr. Maple and at Buchholz Nursery. They'll be coming to Mr. Maple first. They'll be amazing plants you can pick up here, maybe in 2025. Some of these will be in 2025. Some of these will be in 2026. But the production is off the chain on these now. It's actually, you know, the train has left the station. It is in. These are rolling and decent numbers, decent stock plants. So these things are all picking up production, and they're things they're really hyped about. I want to share them with you today because I think you'll like this top 5. Coming here at number 5, we've got Acer Shirosawinum Yellow Canary. Now, a lot of hype on this one. This is a Talon Buchholz introduction. Shirosawinums always get a lot of attention. Large leaves, golden yellow, a lot of color to it. Big Shirosawinum leaves. I'm really impressed with the leaf size on this one.
I mean, the leaf size on the new growth can sometimes look like an Emmett's pumpkin. I mean, it really is really large on the new growth. I remember Dan at the Maple Society was literally on the bus, and he was like, guys, you got to talk Talon out of this. He's got Yellow Canary. This is the coolest thing ever. And he was showing us a photo of it, and I was like, man, I gotta get in touch with that. And little did I know we'd later be buying Buchholz and having the original Yellow Canary. But it is just really bright yellow. It's very vigorous. And as it matures, you get those really nice full moon leaves on it.
People have such a reaction to this one. It's got a great name. It's got great color. It almost has a visceral reaction. Like, people see this, they're like, I have to have that one. Like, it's one of those plants that has that instant impact. Really, all of these on this list do. I mean, that's how they're in the top 5. But Yellow Canary definitely elicits that collector response where people are like, okay, I'm really drawn to this.
And we've got this in production. We've dropped it a few times on our eBay through the Maple Mafia there. But
once on Mr. Maple.
Once on Mr. Maple. And, y'all, we're bringing it in bigger and bigger numbers every year because that's our goal here at Mr. Maple, to actually be able to offer large sets for you. And we got this thing in production. So I'm really excited about this. Definitely a really cool maple introduction with a lot of hype behind it as well.
All right, coming in here at number 4, we got the Red Jaguar.
Now, this is a selection that was found by our friend Jason Stevens, and we actually got to put the name Red Jaguar on it. It was originally just had a code name of like Jason's Variegated Maple, just like as a working name on it. And it was just outstanding. I mean, it looks like a bloodgood sometimes in the early spring, but the new growth flushes during the summer have like a spider web-like variegation of white across that red.
Our same friend that found this also found Wildfire. So some cool introductions there. Love Red Jaguar. Love that we were able to assist a little bit.
The original Bella came from his farm too.
Right. We were able to assist a little bit by making this one just a little more special, just a little more interesting. I think Red Jaguar kind of gave it another level of interest. Like, the colors were already something that got everybody excited. Great plant. Coming back into production here, pretty good at Mr. Maple. We've got some decent-sized stock plants throwing on a lot of wood. And so this one, you'll be able to find it, and it'll be easier to get coming up. So I absolutely love the colors on this one. I know it's a lot of people's holy grail list, right? Those holy grails of maples. A lot of people are looking for Red Jaguar, and it's coming. This one can often leaf out in the spring all red, and then by summer you start to get that crazy, almost like a lightning effect of just this crackling variegation across the whole thing. Late summer growth can look pretty crazy. I often take pictures of like the tree right in like August and September. A lot of times the older growth will be kind of green then, but you just have this crazy white pale growth shooting off of it. So the new growth can just be nuts.
And one that is probably the closest thing to it, but is very different. Coming in at number 3, we've got Beni Ukigumo.
Yeah, once you got the two, you can compare them. Like, I think early on, a lot of people confuse these two. Distinctly different. I mean, very distinctly different, especially in the way they variegate. Beni Ukigumo, it looks like an Ukigumo that's red. Like, it's crazy. Really a great plant. I've been really impressed with kind of the pale pinks on the new growth of this one, even in summer. Even in late fall, like I'm talking about, that new growth, you'll see a lot of more pink in this one. Just really impressed with it. We've got it in heavy production. We've got great stock plants going on now. I think we'll be able to release some really decent sets of this one.
I was shocked at our Buchholz farm how much signwood these trees were able to produce. I mean, they were producing good wood at Mr. Maple, but when they went to our Buchholz farm, it was a whole nother level.
It's a whole secondary flush.
A whole secondary flush. And during the summer months, when Beni Ukigumo, that variegation was just crazy on that new growth. And to me, it was just outrageous. An awesome tree I think people are going to be going crazy for.
Great name, too.
I can't wait to bring that and get that available on MrMaple.com.
In numbers.
Yeah.
That's the name of the game with all this, is in numbers. So you guys, obviously, even when you bring 100 of something like this to the market, that's going to sell out pretty quickly. But if you can back that up with multiple drops in the same year, that's our goal. When you can back that up with a June release, a September release, maybe even an October release, that's when it starts to get easier for people to get. That's when you're able to actually get some of these great plants out to the people who are looking for them. We actually create a lot of hype for the industry, so a lot of these things, after we start talking about them, kind of grow a little bit sometimes. Beni Ukigumo, it's worth the hype. This one's worth the hype. It's a cool plant, and we'll be offering it here at MrMaple in some decent numbers. Really, really happy with what we've been able to do on this one so far. And
we drop trees year-round on MrMaple.com every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. 20 trees go on our website on Tuesday and Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we're making drops year-round. So sometimes, if you miss out a drop in the spring, there's a drop later, And some of those wintertime drops are some of the easiest times to get some of these cool varieties because there's less people competing with you during that time of the year.
Some of our hotter month or some of our – they're all popular, but some of our lesser attended open houses are a great way to find things as well. A lot of times we'll have sets there we'll bring out for the people who made the trek over to visit us. And so sometimes that's an easy way to find some of these most coveted trees without having to compete online. But again, we're bringing these all online, and we're bringing them in enough numbers that eventually you're going to get it if you're after it. That's the plan here. So coming here at number 2, man, this could be my number 1. This is a hard one to pick. I don't know. The top 2 are pretty good. Number 2, we've got Acer Japonicum Maiku Nishiki. Now, you're going to get this one a lot easier than me. I had to buy Buchholz Nursery to get this plant. So it was a hard investment to get this plant. This was Talon's selling point. He told us we should buy the nursery. He showed us Maiku Nishiki. I think I literally fell to my knees and wept and said, I have to have this. Not really. But then he showed us around the nursery, and he said, I think I have a graft of this. So we walked around for an hour, and he goes, I guess that was the only one. I guess you'll have to buy the nursery to get it. I was like, I guess I have to buy the nursery. So we bought Buchholz Nursery just to get Maiku Nishiki, really. So now we're bringing it to you guys. Not really. But we're bringing this one to you guys. I was literally speechless. And that doesn't happen much when you deal with maples the way we do. Tim and I, we're everyday maple guys. Like, we talk about maples. Joe Gardner joked that our podcast was going to be called the Nonstop Maple Talk. And that's what it really is. But Tim and I, if we go to lunch, we talk about maples. We talk about things that get us excited. It's rare. Almost 20 years into this for me. I'm coming 2028 will be 20 years of me doing this as my only source of income. So my full-time job. Been doing it my whole life, but that'll be 20 years of me doing this full-time. It's hard to get that excited as I do seeing new things. Like Maiku Nishiki got me there. I'm like, that is nuts. That's crazy. Again, so this is a variegated form, a reticulated form of something like Maiku Jaku.
And it's literally white with almost green veins on a dancing peacock Japanese maple leaf. It is a game changer. I mean, there's another variegated Japonicum out there that is very unstable called Kujaku Nishiki. And this one blows it out of the water for its stability.
Also, it's reticulated.
And it's reticulated. So I'm ecstatic of actually getting a variegated Japonicum and actually being able to make that available in the trade.
So it might be 2026, might be 2025. I don't know. The numbers are getting better.
Not a fan of the name, though. May is dancing. Kujaku means peacock. So somebody took the old way of saying Maiku and Jaku, and
let's talk to Hiroku and see what she feels about that one. Maybe
because the name doesn't quite make sense because Nishiki means variegated, Mei means dancing, Kujaku means peacock, so they shortened it to Maiku. So I'm not so big fan.
It's named after Tim Nichols. It's variegated dancer. Lovely plant, though, guys. I'm absolutely ecstatic over this one. Great fall colors. It is so freaking next level for a plant. Like, I get excited about plants. Anyway, this is so next level. A variegated Japonicum. Again, I say this a lot. This sounds like a creative player in a video game. Like, it sounds like you made this thing up. Like, there's no way I'm this far into the maple game, and I'm just now seeing this plant. I love it.
I was excited about how many trees we were able to graft off of it last year. I'm going to be so excited to see how many we can produce off of that to really start getting some crops available for MrMaple.
Right. In 2023, there was one.
Yeah, in 2023, there was one. There's a lot more than that now, and we're working hard to make even more. So get excited. It's on the way. Probably not 2024 or 2025.
Not in the past, not Back to the Future.
Probably not 2025, but maybe a chance.
Maybe. All right, guys. This one is through the roof on the hype train as well. It's a Talon Buchholz introduction, and we've been going hard after it for a few years now. So you'll start to see some numbers trickling in. I think this one will have some numbers in 2025, I think. But they're slow growing. They take forever. It takes a long time to get them ready. But I think there's a good chance this one hits again in 2025. I'm hoping. Again, you never really know. It kind of is always based off production. People are always like, when's this going to be available? I'm like, well, let me go through my next graft season and see what my numbers are behind it. Because if I don't have a certain number behind it, so I'm able to keep those drops going, I'm not going to release it until – there's a little inside game here, but until I have enough to back that up so I have multiple sets coming after, I'm not going to blow through all of my stock on it. So this one I think you'll see again this year. It's Bloody Talons.
Bloody Talons, it's awesome because it's got the name Bloody Talons, and it's red and the leaves – red in the fall and the leaves cup downward. It looks almost like it's got little dripping blood off the ends of it sometimes in the late summer.
Plus it's a double entendre on Talon Buchholz's name.
Exactly.
So, it's kind of like that bloody guy, Bloody Talons. People have asked him for Bloody Buchholz, which he was like, I'm not naming it that. People have incorrectly asked. It was like the blood good, like the mind slip where people call that one good blood. People are like, you got any of those Bloody Buchholzes? It's like, whoa. I mean, he laughs to no end about that. Talon, one of the best senses of humor you'll ever meet. Guy's hilarious. Bloody Talons, though, one of his early introductions that he didn't introduce till late in his career. So Talon actually found Bloody Talons in like the 90s. It's been around a minute. It's very slow growing. It's one of the slowest growing maples of all time. It's really interesting, though. I've really been impressed with it. I think it's interesting. It's one we're going to keep producing. It's a collector plant.
It gets a bulge at the graft, so the graft is the rootstock is going to be smaller than the top.
This is the opposite of a street tree. This is the least street tree maple of all time.
It's extremely slow growing. The plants that we've featured on our top 5 most outrageous trees at Buchholz, those are 20-plus years old. I mean, that's insane that it's that small after 20-plus years. I mean, even some of the, what they call dwarf Japanese maples after 20 years can be, a good size. We're often talking about a 10-year time frame for them, double that, and that's what people normally get with 20 years. This thing's slow growing, and the leaf cups downward. It's got that convex leaf to it. Definitely weird.
It's like an Addams Family Japanese maple.
The interesting thing, though, is that whenever, I was talking with Core about those trees that have the convex leaves, many people believe those trees have some Shirasolanum influence in them. So something like Peve starfish, Palmettifolium, Trompenberg, those trees have Shirasolanum palmatum X genes likely, is what many of the maple experts believe.
Maybe some hybridization from Talon's records. This one actually comes from Amber Ghost.
So we might be looking at some sort of Amber Ghost Shirasolanum hybrid, because Talon
it's weird.
Talon has some of the Shirasolanum hybrids more than anybody else in his collection from the Floral Wonder.
This thing's funky. It's weird. It's unique. It's a plant only a collector would love, but the collectors really love it. That's why it's number 1 on our list in production, because I don't think Talon was grafting many of these. He gifted us the first one to ever leave the farm, and that was like 3 years ago. I mean, we've owned the thing a full year now. The original gift from him was maybe 2021, the very first one ever left the farm. So he had it since the 90s. He grafted a few for himself. It wasn't one he got out there. And then he finally, like toward the end of his maple naming career, said, let's get this one going. I like it. So the hype train was through the roof. I think it was kind of that fun one that he kept back, though, too. I think it was kind of like the he would gift it to you, but you couldn't really buy it. Like Talon kind of likes that aesthetic. Like it's the one you don't have, but it's kind of special, and it kind of had that hype about it. And so I think we've kind of like let the cat out of the bag now. Like the MrMaple guys are going, let's get that crazy one into production, actually get it to people. So fun plant, Bloody Talons coming back in production, and all these are in really decent number of production. So if you're a collector and these are plants you're seeking, be patient, is what I would say. Wait for them. They're coming on MrMaple.com, decent prices, and they're going to be returning here eventually in enough numbers that they're not impossible to get. You'll be able to find them. Like, again, it's going to sell out when it hits a 10 at 10, but it may sell it the first few times in a minute or two, but the production's there that eventually we're going to get these things easier and easier to get.
Y'all, hope you're excited about these trees that we've got in production here at Mr. Maple. We wanted to bring you some of the hype, cool trees and some of these awesome things that we've been working hard to try to provide for you through MrMaple.com.
We put out 7 days a week content here on the Mr. Maple Show. Make sure to subscribe here if you like Japanese maples, like the video if you like maples, but share it if you love Japanese maples.
Take care
God bless.
and have a great day.